How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LePera. Running on autopilot is a function of our conditioning. Most of us are stuck in subconscious programming. In fact, some brain scans reveal that we operate only 5% of the day in a conscious state. The rest of the time, we are in subconscious autopilot. This means that we are making active choices during only a small sliver of our days and letting our subconscious run the show the rest of the time. Consciousness building. I will now join you on this journey, sharing with each of you the same future self journaling prompts, or FSJ prompts, I used each day to begin to create new habits in my daily life. Early in my journey, I began to practice keeping a small daily promise of creating one new experience of consciousness in my day. Each day in my notebook, I copied similar versions of the following statements, giving myself a consistent daily reminder of my intention to change. This helped me make new choices consistently throughout my day, helping me to create new habits over time. To help you with this process, you may want to use the following example or create a similar one of your own. Today, I am practicing being conscious to myself and my daily patterns. I am grateful for an opportunity to create change in my life. Today, I am conscious and aware whenever I choose. Change in this area allows me to feel more aware of myself and my patterns. Today, I am practicing when I bring my attention back to the present moment. I've observed many maladaptive coping strategies in my clinical work. Some of the most common include people pleasing. Once you meet the demand, the stress temporarily is gone. Anger or rage. If you can discharge the emotion onto someone else, you've released it. Disassociation. You leave your body during a stressful event so that you don't experience the trauma in the first place. Sexually, this form of detachment can involve having sex with people who we aren't truly interested in. Instead, it might involve dedicating ourselves to a partner's pleasure without any awareness of our attention to our own. Having a parent who denies your reality. Remember a time in your childhood when you went to your parent figure with an idea, feeling, or experience, and they responded in an invalidating way. For example, their response could have been some version of, it didn't happen that way, or it's not a big deal, or you should just forget about it. Spend some time connecting with your child self, exploring what you may have felt when your parent figure responded in those ways. To help you reflect, feel free to use this journal prompt. In childhood, when my parent figure blank, I felt blank. Having a parent who does not see or hear you. Remember a time in your childhood where you wanted to be acknowledged by your parent figure and they seemed distracted, busy, or otherwise made you feel unacknowledged. Spend some time noting the past circumstances that led to you feeling unseen or unheard. Then reflect upon and write about the ways you may have tried to get their attention. Did you perform, act out, or become withdrawn? To help you reflect, feel free to use this journal prompt. In childhood, when my parent figure blank, I felt blank. To cope, I blank. Having a parent who vicariously lives through you or molds and shapes you. To remember a time in your childhood, do you remember time in your childhood when you got messages about who you were or weren't? Did your parent figure who said, you're so sensitive like your mother, or you need to get straight A's to make the family proud? Were you as impassioned and committed to those goals as they were? Or did you feel as though you were going through the motions just to please them? Spend some time noting the different messages you may have received about yourself in childhood. Also noting the different ways you may have been influenced by your parent figure's directly or indirectly expressed wishes. To help you reflect, feel free to use these journal prompts. In my childhood, I received the following messages about myself. Blank. I was aware that my parent figure wished the following of me. Blank. Having a parent who does not model boundaries. Spend some time thinking back to your experiences with personal limits and their violations in childhood, as well as about the different source of limits or lack thereof modeled by your parent figures overall. To help you reflect, feel free to use these journal prompts. In your childhood, did you feel free to say no? Or did your parent figure tell you to behave a certain way? When your parent figure had strong feelings, such as anger or sadness, how did they respond? For example, did they slam doors, vent, scream, or give the silent treatment? Did your parent figure have a specific coping strategy? For example, did they overspend when shopping, using substances, avoid certain or all emotions entirely? When your parent figure had strong feelings, how did they communicate with you or those around you? For example, did they resort to name calling, blaming, shaming, or the silent treatment? After strong feelings, did your parent figure take time to explain or help you process your own feelings around what happened? In childhood, I received the following messages about feelings in general or my feelings in particular. Coming full circle, consistent cycles of emotional addiction exacerbate our dysfunctions of the trauma body, including the chronic inflammation and gut issues that are key physical symptoms expressed by every single one of my clients. Because the vagus nerve is connected to the gut, if we have a dysregulated vagal nerve or poor vagal tone, our digestion suffers. When we enter the fight or flight mode, the cascade of stress hormones activates our body to pump out inflammatory chemicals such as cytokines, which create even more inflammation. Our nervous system and our unconscious addiction to keep it in a highly activated way. Do the work. Assess your nervous system dysregulation. Step one, witness yourself. Nervous system dysregulation is a term used to describe symptoms that come from repeated activation or extended periods of stress. Ideally, when you face a stressful situation head on, your nervous system becomes activated and then returns to a baseline state of balance, which allows your body to rest and digest. If your nervous system cannot regulate itself, however, you cannot recover from stress and you may have the following symptoms. Possible psychological plus emotional symptoms. Activation symptoms like shame, guilt, mood swings, fear, panic, aggression, anxiety, rage, terror, confusion, self-blame, overwhelm. Shutdown symptoms. Inability to connect to people or experiences, feeling spacey and numb, inability to think clearly, fear of speaking up or being seen. Possible physical symptoms. Hypervigilance symptoms like insomnia, nightmares, jumpiness, fear of loud sounds, trembling, shaking, racing heart, migraines, digestion issues, autoimmune disorders. Tension symptoms, teeth grinding, migraines, muscle tension or aches, exhaustion, chronic fatigue. Possible social symptoms, attachment symptoms, push-pull or avoidant relationship patterns, consistent fear of abandonment, often resulting in clinginess or the inability to be alone. Emotional symptoms, boundarylessness or overly rigid absolute boundaries without flexibility, social anxiety, irritability, social withdrawal. For a week, spend some time tuning into your body each day. Witness and note when you're experiencing any of the above symptoms of nervous system activation. Step two, restore balance to the nervous system. Achieving an awareness of your state of nervous system activation will be an important part of your healing journey. Incorporating the following practices daily will help you regulate your nervous system. Over time, this practice will help give you the ability to engage with yourself and others and the world in new ways. Choose one of these practices to focus on each day and practice only to the degree of intensity or effort that feels comfortable. Those of you who are already keeping a journal or notepad for this work may want to note how your body feels in response to each practice. Find your ground in the present moment. Find a smell, a taste, or visual in your current environment. Practice actively focusing your full attention on those sensory experiences. Do a visualization meditation. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Picture a white light coming from your heart. Repeat the words, I am safe and I am at peace, as you place your hands on your heart. Do this 3 times throughout the day. First thing in the morning, right before bed is a great time for this. Be conscious about your consumption of information. When you consume information, your nervous system consumes it too. Be mindful of how you feel in your body as you consume various kinds of information. Do you feel replenished and restored or depleted and fearful? Disconnecting from media can activate anxious feelings. Can be helpful. Find nature and witness it. Go outside and just experience any small amount of the natural environment that is accessible to you. Notice the color of flowers, sit under a tree, place your bare feet onto grass or into water. Let the wind blow on your skin. Nature is a natural balancer of our nervous system, gives us a reset. As you begin to use these tools to help restore balance to your nervous system, remember that small, consistent practice is key. Many of you have been living a lifetime in a dysregulated body, so healing, which will happen, will take time. Restoring balance. Here's an example of the future self journaling prompts I used each day to begin to create a new experience of nervous system balance in my daily life. To help you with this process, you may want to use the following example or create a similar one of your own. Today, I am practicing restoring balance to my nervous system. I am grateful for an opportunity to create calm in my life. Today, I am bringing one moment of much needed calm to my body. Change in this area allows me to feel more peace. Today, I am practicing when I feel safety in the present moment, do one visualization meditation, am conscious about my information consumption, spend 1 minute witnessing nature. Studies have shown a link between daily breath work practices and increased longevity. The theory is that by managing our stress response, we decrease our inflammatory response and stimulate hormones that maintain the parts of chromosomes called telomeres that are associated with longer life. According to James Nestor, the author of Breath, The New Science of a Lost Art, a 2-decade-long research study of 5,200 people showed that the greatest indicator of lifespan wasn't genetics, diet, or the amount of daily exercise, as many had suspected. It was lung capacity. Larger lungs equaled longer lives because big lungs allow us to get more air in with fewer breaths. Shallow breathing can create or worsen a variety of illnesses from hypertension to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. It strips our body of essential nutrients and weakens our skeletal structure. A common favorite playtime activity that engages the vagus nerve is singing. Singing feels pleasurable for many of us. We may have been conditioned to keep our voices to ourselves when others said we couldn't carry a tune. Try to remember back to when you were a child and the various ways singing was used to develop self-awareness, confidence, and joy. The benefits of singing do not stop in adulthood. Belting out your favorite song will help tone your vagus nerve in many of the similar ways that breath work, yoga, and play do. If you can sing with others, the benefits are even greater. The co-regulatory force of a room full of singers is incredibly uplifting. Even singing to yourself in the shower can be healing. Do the work, meet your shadow. To meet your shadow self, take some time reflecting and writing using these prompts. When you have feelings of jealousy, ask yourself, what do I feel the other person has that I feel I am lacking? How often do you give others advice and why do you give it? How do you speak about yourself to others? This will help you understand your self-narratives and limiting beliefs. How do you speak about others when they are not around? This will help you understand your relationship narratives and attachment or spiritual trauma. Changing ego consciousness to empowerment consciousness. In order for you to empower yourself to break out of your ego's conditioned habits and patterns, you will want to begin to create a space before you instinctively return to those older ego reactions. To help you with this process, you want to use the following example or create a similar one of your own. Today, I'm practicing breaking old habits of emotional reactivity. I am grateful for the opportunity to choose new responses to my daily life. Today, I am calm and grounded in presence. Change in this area allows me to feel more in control of my choices. Today, I am practicing when I use my breath to ground my reactions and make space for new conscious choices.